Hello and welcome back, I should say, from the weekend. I hope they had an amazing weekend. It's so great to be back with you on today's live level up conversation. So whether you're tuning in live or catching me on the replay, I'm so grateful that you've made the time to be here with me today. Happy Tuesday. Let's dive right into today's live level up conversation.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market updates. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, Level Up friends. It's great to be here with you. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, an award winning financial pro, Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. I just want to say a big welcome to say Joshua on YouTube Live. I see Vicky joining us. I see a lot of you joining from all different platforms. So definitely come in, say hello. Let me know where you're joining me from, and of course, your name, so I can thank you for being here as well. We're streaming live on over half a dozen different social media platforms, so it's great to see you. Now, let's start with the market because we got to tell you what's going on. So much business financial news today. It's crazy. Well, currently the market is closed and it's a triple down day. Unfortunately, the Dow closed down 231 points. NASDAQ also down 160 points. And the S&P also down 47 points. So a really tough day as the market continues to try to work through because we are very, very much worried about the debt ceiling downers here. The S&P 500, as you know, has dipped now. Debt ceiling negotiations continue. Dow Jones down. President Biden and House Speaker McCarthy, they keep telling us that it's close. They've had productive meetings on the debt ceiling, and yet we still don't have any resolution that this has been clinched. Investors are watching very closely as the debt limit negotiations occur, as we call X date of June 1st approaches. Hopefully, they can get this debt ceiling deal done by June 1st. I don't know if I'm feeling really optimistic about this, but let's just say that historically, it has never been historically, there's never been one time where the debt ceiling crisis wasn't avoided and that we had, debt crisis. So hopefully this will be no different. The market is certainly showing some stability despite much of the unknown coming from the Fed. You got to take that with a grain of salt. Is it really stable? The fact that the market's been down for quite a few days now. But we'll see. There was some positive news, though. For those of you who work for one of these companies, you might think this is a positive. Apple has announced a multi-billion-dollar chip production deal with Broadcom. Now, for those of you who don't know Broadcom's headquarters is actually located not too far from where I sit today. In fact, they have a big presence here in Southern California. So I believe that is because of some of the controversy that's been coming out of Asia. And of course, Taiwan is sort of the superpower in terms of creating chips. And so therefore, Apple is making decisions to team up with Broadcom. Kind of makes sense, right? Now, let's go on to the next story, though. Now that we know the debt ceiling is still not resolved, what else is there to talk about? Well, there's plenty. In fact, some of this news should be on your radar because if you watch sort of business news the way I do, you kind of always want to know what's coming up ahead and plan ahead if we can. Now, this is kind of a big one. I'm surprised this hasn't hit the news sooner. But as you know, many people still continue to work from home or on a hybrid basis. But if you've been in commercial real estate or you've visited commercial buildings or you've driven by a commercial, company parking lot, you've probably noticed a lot less cars. And that's because, well, many people working from home. And so one area that continues to be weak and actually now is being called troublesome by the one and only Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO of JP Morgan, is saying commercial real estate is a potential source of trouble for lenders. In fact, he's identified certain locations, certain office properties, and construction loans as potential offsites to the real estate sector. Now, this is really important because he's mentioning terms such as low loan defaults in recent years due to low interest rates, and of course, stimulus money that came to the United States. Many businesses benefited from stimulus money during the early years of the pandemic. I say early years because I just want to mention that the pandemic is not over yet, no matter what people are telling you. So, anyhow, I digress. But the landscape has certainly changed as the Federal Reserve has now been increasing interest rates. And so because people aren't working as much in the offices, remote work has still continues to be very, very big. In fact, another story about that later today. But um, so they're saying that what will happen, right? We know that credit card losses continue to be a big thing if unemployment rises sharply. But what's going to happen if these businesses can't keep up with the payments to the office spaces and commercial real estate? Will this be a 2008 all over again, which we saw in the residential real estate crisis? We don't know. But some things to really pay attention to, just sort of knowing where the con- like potential landmines are here in the economy and the financial markets, to pay attention, right? Because those kinds of signals could impact you and I, our finances, our money, and everything else in between. So things to pay attention to, right? Vicky is saying, yeah, definitely a roller coaster in the financial markets for sure. Now let's segue over to another story, which kind of, I think, impacts what we just talked about. And this is, well, Amazon employees are saying no to back to work into the office. In fact, they plan to have a walkout plant. All right. Amazon employees in Seattle area are planning for a walkout later this month. This is according to a story from the Washington Post. This walkout is to address the concerns of many of the employees about their company's return to office mandate, some layoffs they've been having, and its impact on climate change. So, organizers of this walkout are distributing on their internal Slack system and email messages calling for employees to join this walkout protest, which is scheduled for May 31st. They're saying that at least 1,000 employees based in Seattle area um, are going to be needed to participate in this walkout. And the action is organized by two groups within Amazon. One that they form on Amazon, on Slack, in response to sort of return to office policy, and Amazon employees for climate justice group. This is their other group. I guess this is an employer research group. But of course, this follows with a recent announcement from Amazon of additional job cuts and unemployment, um, you know, announcements totaling more than 9,000 more layoffs, which is never a good thing for any company, for their employee satisfaction, right? And morale and everything in between. So CEO Andy Jassy, you may know that he is now the Amazon chief, no longer Jeff Bezos, has reaffirmed that the company's return to office plans will be in April despite all this backlash. So even though if you're going to do a whack off, he still expects you to come back sooner than later. Amazon expressed sort of respect for employees' rights to express their opinions, but that you really should continue to be back into the office. So, I mean, we're already past April, so I'm not sure like what that means, but that's the news. And that's the news, my friends. Yeah. And Brian Schumann, I see you on LinkedIn Live. Really, really great for you to see you here today. But yeah, some of that news is really daunting. So number one, people aren't going back to work yet, right? Because a lot of people are enjoying working from home. And like not to mention now some of the employers are saying this is a climate change issue. But then that's also impacting commercial real estate with a lot of lending and a lot of loans and interest rate hikes and everything else. And then we're still dealing with a debt ceiling. So a lot of things that are happening, so much so that you might think, you know what, I feel like I just want to get away, maybe going to the world's happiest place on earth. Well, this is our next story. The world's happiest place on earth is getting a lot less happy, at least for laid off employees at Disney, that is. Disney has reportedly begun its third and final round of layoffs. these few weeks, as it aims to cut about 7,000 jobs by this summer. Now, these cuts are expected to impact over 2,500 jobs across the company, with parks and resorts and the television division being relatively unaffected, thankfully. However, analysts express concerns about sort of declining linear networks, direct to consumer challenges, and another big thing is slowing parks business, believe it or not, at Disney and Disney World, and probably some of their other parks throughout the world. And I'm curious, for those of you who have you been to Disneyland or Disney World lately? Have you noticed, have the crowds slowed down a little bit? Because based on what I've heard, and I've done some research, right, looking at this for some of my friends who were traveling to California in the summer, it doesn't look like there's been a slowdown in terms of tickets. It looks like most days, at least in the summer, are full. And some days you can't even buy tickets. So I'd be interested to see your experience if you have been to the parks lately. Have you noticed slowing parks? But the ongoing writer's strike also has caused some issues with production shutdowns in, of course, the entertainment industry. And so, yeah, that's what's happening. And of course, you probably have heard of what's sort of that ongoing dilemma with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, which I believe I heard that he is going to be announcing his run for presidency. I think he's said he's going to be doing that with Elon Musk, in fact, through a Twitter Spaces. So maybe that'll happen today. I don't know, but I heard a little bit of grumbling there. But I think Disney's Florida issues continue to put pressure on Disney and sort of laying off employees and relocating of employees and all that in between. So we're gonna have to pay really close attention, but definitely see if that's the case. If Governor DeSantis's run announcement, see how that's going to unfold with Disney and everything else. But yeah, a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff happening. We're going to be definitely coming to you live a lot this week because hopefully we'll get some resolution on the debt ceiling. As you know, that X day, as they are calling it, is June 1st. We're hoping to hear before that we avoid a debt ceiling crisis here, that they can raise that debt ceiling so the U.S. Won't go into default, because that would be a really bad thing, not only for you, but for me, but for everybody else in this world as well. We need there to be some peace, and we need to make sure that people can trust in the good faith of the U.S. government to pay its debt for sure. So thank you so much for all of you for being here. And I see Vicky talking about the LGBT community as well. Fingers crossed. And CrossX Fighter is saying that been to Walt Disney World, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, I haven't been to either park in a long time as well, but hopefully things get better, and hopefully we can continue to focus on being more inclusive and coming together, and rather than breaking us apart. Would we agree on that? I think I'll agree on that too, with that. But most importantly, I hope that you stay well, and I'm so grateful for you to being here, my esteemed audience, for watching, being here with me today, tuning in and joining in and supporting Level Up. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, of course, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Always got to remember to say that. And of course, don't forget to follow along and watch full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on the beautiful NASDAQ platform, Amazon Fire, Samsung, Roku, amongst many other streaming platforms as well. And don't forget to check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun on Apple Podcasts and the LinkedIn Podcast Network. With that, I thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to see you again, and it'll probably be tomorrow. All right. I'll talk to you very soon. Take care now.